Types of traverse. There are two types of traverse in the cadastral survey: closed traverse, open traverse. Closed traverse. A closed traverse is called when the measurements started from a point of known position and ends at the point which is also known position. There are two types of closed traverse. First, traverse which begins and ends at the same point of making a turn and return to the original point, usually done on the measurement of the required areas only. Second, traverse which begins and ends at two different points but know the values of both coordinate at that point. Open traverse. An open traverse is one which does not close on the point of the beginning. For example, the line center survey of a highway, railroad, etc. An open traverse originates from a point whose position may be known or unknown but terminates to a point whose position is not known. In this type of traverse, computational check is not possible to detect error or blunder in distances or directions. To minimize error, repeated observations or measurements need to be taken. In figure below, consider a traverse ABCD that originates from point A, which may be unknown or may be defined with reference to known point P lying on the line PQ of a known azimuth, but it terminates to unknown point E. Thus, traverse ABCD in an open traverse. Open traverse survey is the survey station is not begin or end or both on coordinate points. This traverse is hard to do the adjustment. Observation angle and bearing. Each measurement started either from bearing assumptions, prismatic compass bearing, the bearing from sun observations, or the values derived from the certified plane. Horizontal angle or bearing observations for each measurement shall be made in two phases, left and right, with face left as first observation. Bearing or horizontal angle observations shall be recorded to 1 second approximate. Observation of distance. Observation distance, as far as possible, the boundaries should be met directly. Observation distance to be for both faces are recorded to the nearest 0.001 meters, where differences were not exceeding the permitted 0.004 meters. The difference between reading of face left and face right shall not exceed 20 seconds. The first vertical angle observations on each day shall be read in both faces and recorded the 1 second nearest. The difference between the two faces reading should not exceed 1 minute. Linear misclosure. Accuracy or linear misclosure to traverse the work can be calculated by using the following formula. Linear misclosure is usually stated in the form of ratios, for example 1 to 8,000. Thus, the formula above will be as follows: 1 to 9,000, 1 to 23,000, 1 to 115,000. The minimum limits for traverse is more than 1 to 8,000. Latitude and departure will be calculated. For determine a few things as follows: first, the accuracy of the work traverse; second, coordinates of traverse stations; selected traverse area. Bearing adjustment. All bearing observations should be adjusted to provide corrections for the final bearing. Close bearing and C correction. C correction is the correction of the closing of each closed traverse survey, and it should be given to each bearing observations if there are discrepancies or dispute bearing or bearing misclose. Bearing dispute is the difference between the observed bearing or starting bearing or datum and sample. Dispute observed bearing equal last bearing minus bearing should. Dispute. The value of bearing can only be calculated when the closed traverse survey, either on the bearing datum line or any lines that have a bearing that can be referenced. Limit of acceptable bearing dispute depends on the type of classes conducted traverse. Dispute shall be recorded at the end of the bearing after bearing close observation as follows. Lines 1 to 2 read 60 degree 29 minutes and 50 seconds. Should read 60 degree 30 minutes and 40 seconds. Bearing dispute minus 50 second in 5 station 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1. So the corrections of C equal plus 50 second divide 5 equal plus 10 seconds for each station. C correction assigned to each station the same distribution but will accumulate or accumulative at the last station. If the dispute is positive, then the correction will be negative, and that's exactly the reverse. Example, correction for the station, bearing observation the first, C1 equal plus 10 second. Correction for the station of the second, or C2 equal plus 20 second. Correction for the station third equal C3 equal plus 30 seconds. Correction for the station the fourth equal C4 equal plus 40 second. Correction for the station the fifth equal C5 equal plus 50 seconds. Final bearing. Ultimate bearing should be adjusted to 10 second approximate. Ultimate bearing from bearing are corrected with the C correction. Final distance should be observed to the nearest 0.001 meters. Final distance derived from the average distance taken from face left and face right. This is the example booking for traverse.